good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're in the world. This is Augie of the Blago Blabber podcast. I'd like to welcome everybody to a new segment, new episode, new show. Today, it's a little bit different. I actually have a friend dropping by today, and my good friend Yusuf. We go back to our high school days, which was a number of years back. We've kept in contact since high school ended, and now we're old grown men, and we still keep in contact, group chats and stuff like that. Big NBA guy like myself, Raptors fan. He's a Knicks fan, so he has a lot to cheer for. This season, me, not so much. But yeah, I'd like to welcome Yusuf to the show. First of all, thank you for joining. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Like I said, we're going to do a little bit of NBA talk today. We're going to have the All-Star game covered a little bit here. We're going to look at some, guys who are on the team who deserve their spot, maybe some snubs, surprise stories in the season, mid-season awards, and if we get to it, maybe some Knicks talk. So, Yusuf, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words and the warm introduction. Friends since high school, kept in touch. Now we're old. Old grown men.
Exactly.
But, always, at least in some sort of communication as far as the group chat and our personal talks and all that fun stuff. But yeah.
This has been some time in the making. Has been.
Oh my God.
This has been like a year in the making, because we had. So just to further track back, we talked about, I think it was the All-Star game 2 years ago, I think it was, and we actually recorded a podcast that was like an hour and a half or something like that, and I had some troubles with exporting it and some of the stuff that I used, and I got away from doing it, and now I've tested everything, and everything's a go. We had some trouble today too, but we're ready to go. Let's get into it. All-Star game, deserving spots, snubs. Yusuf, I'm gonna let you take over, and then I'm gonna go after you. So, who deserves? Let's go with who was maybe fortunate to be to have an all-star spot in the East, and then we'll go to the West, and then we could do the snubs after we do the guys who are most deserving.
For sure. So I think for someone that's benefited for sure from being an all-star, it's Sabonis, because I think at the 25th hour, KD's like, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Right? So Sabonis was kind of like pretty much a snub. He was a snub in my category, but he just kind of snuck in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who he really snuck in over, although I could say there's other people that I could say Trae Young's a snub. I could, right? Mm. Because the Hawks are not a good team.
No.
Right? Their coach got fired. We knew he'd get fired. But when I look at his game or how he plays or whatever numbers he's putting up, the impact that Trae Young has to the Hawks, it's like, how is that maybe any different than a Vucevic, who's a really good player on a terrible team?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? Or Beal, who's a phenomenal player, leading scorer in the NBA, but on a bad team. So, when we put all these things on the scale, what tips in favor of, this person deserves to be an all-star?
Right?
Because I think when LaVine got picked, his team probably wasn't even in, 10th, I would say?
Yeah.
And then now they're... Actually, no, sorry. They're still 10th.
Yeah.
My apologies. And again, the race between, 5 to, 11 is, I think they're all tied. For the most part. There might be one game back.
Yeah.
But it can go really either way. There's so many guys I think that deserved it. Sabonis was definitely lucky that KD was able to, be I don't even know if he's hurt. Does he have COVID? I don't know.
100%.
But he was able to benefit, and you know what? I'm glad that he did. LaVine, I feel like he is this year's Dame Lillard of 3 years ago.
Correct.
Where he's where it's okay, we have to let this guy in, otherwise, the writers will be on our ass. LaVine will be on our ass. And does he deserve it? For sure. It's just, it feels like when you get 2-3 snubs in a row, or anything close to that, if you're gonna make it eventually.
Exactly. And the thing is, you might make it when like the season where your numbers maybe aren't even that great. Not saying LaVine is anything like that, but like let's say he got snubbed this year and the 3 years prior to that, and next year he's averaging like 20 a game, then we'd be like, well, why is he on the team? And then we look back, we're like, well, yeah, but he also got snubbed the last 4 seasons, so we're just gonna put him on the team. Like that's the way I look at it.
Exactly, yeah. Like it won't even be based on merit as much as it would be based on like, oh, well, he kind of has been playing good, and his trajectory is going up and up and up the last like the year or 2, 3, whatever. But I think the real like I can argue Trae Young's a snub, but I mean it can go either way. Like not everyone's a fan of his game, and not everyone thinks he's an all-star, which is fine. I just thought the game's in Atlanta, like fucking give this guy a shit.
Yeah.
This guy, you know what I mean? Like give him a nod. Like,
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
The real snubs, in my opinion, and I want to say it's Bam Adebayo, just because I think he's.
The only thing I'll say about Bam, he's missed some games.
See, that's the thing. He's missed games, and I was just about to say Bam and Jimmy. Then I looked at Jimmy and I thought Jimmy missed a lot of friggin' games. He missed a lot of games. So, is he really a snub, or was it just circumstances? Right? Like I think if he didn't miss the games, he's probably taking somebody's spot. I'm not sure who, but somebody. Maybe Randle. I don't know.
I think somebody. Which, for me, look, the snub for me was Sabonis as well. I thought he should have been on the team right away. Look, Ben Simmons is really good, but man, like, what's he going? What's he averaging? Like 13 a game? Like, if we put any other defensive player in the league and we say these are his numbers, he's an all-star, and he plays on the best team, you're probably saying no. And Simmons is on the team, so I don't like. If there's one guy that I have to take off the team, it would probably be Simmons. Sorry. And I get that they're the best team in the East, and they deserve multiple All-Stars, but I don't know. And, like, if push comes to shove, like, Vucevic doesn't make the team over Bam if Bam played all the necessary games. And Tatum's had a little bit of a spiral as well. Those numbers are still very good. And it's a popularity contest. So, honestly, if push came to shove, LaVine wouldn't be on the team.
For sure. Totally agree with the popularity contest because, like, Tatum had COVID, came back, and was noticeably, like, maybe a half a step behind his usual game, right? Because he's only gotten better over the years.
Exactly.
He kind of just cooled off a bit, whereas Brown, fully healthy, no COVID, no Tatum to take his touches.
Arguably the best player on the Celtics, too.
Probably the best player on the Celtics, and Danny Ainge is probably thinking, like, holy crap, what do I do with Kemba Walker? Right? Because all last in the Eastern Conference Finals, like the first 2 rounds is whatever, but when you got to the conference finals, like they were targeting Kemba
all the time,
right? And if they didn't target him then, they would have targeted him in the finals.
Yeah,
so he was cooked. He was cooked food either way.
Exactly.
But, so yeah, Brown totally happy with his progression. He deserves his spot. Not taking anything away from him. Bam and Jimmy again. With games missed, it's circumstantial. It's not their fault. Vucevic, great player, terrible situation. Like, it's just a really bad fit for where he is in his career. For a guy that makes I think he makes like $25 million. That's
he makes a lot. Yeah.
But that's a steal in my opinion because, like, when you look at his age, production, and it's like when you're used to guys of that caliber making like north of 27 or 28, and that's still considered pretty good.
For sure.
And this guy's at like 25. That's perfect for him.
For sure. And a lot of people forget, like, he was on the Sixers right before they drafted Embiid, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It was him, Drew Holiday, and probably Iguodala when he was still there, I'd imagine. But yeah, he literally was one of those like kind of late bloomers, and now look at him, right? Like,
and to be fair, he's adjusted very well to the NBA, like with the 3-point shooting and stuff like that. And since we're on Orlando, I'm shocked that Terrence Ross has survived there for like 4 or 5 seasons. Like, I thought teams that need 3-point shooting would be after him, like even last year.
You know, to be honest, I even in my like little Knicks circles and stuff, there's like big support for Terrence Ross. There's people that are like, you know what? For every time we play this guy and he kills us, like he literally kills us.
Yeah.
because he hits like 6 threes in a game.
Yeah.
Although he is kind of hot and cold, but
Mm-hmm.
like they're just streaky from game to game sometimes. But when he's on,
He doesn't miss.
he could literally give your best 3 players a break.
Well, he scored 50 when he played for the Raptors. Like,
And average less than 10.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, that's the crazy part. It's like, this guy can come in and just be like, you 3 guys, take a break. I got this.
yeah,
And just go berserk.
yeah,
Right?
for sure, 100%.
So,
100%.
You shout out to Masai. He turned water into wine by trading
Literally, yeah.
Terrence Ross for,
Yeah,
you know,
Ibaka.
still prime Ibaka, by the way. Like, that's still
Yeah.
prime Ibaka. But
It's crazy. He's gotten better as his career's gone on too. And I think that title just gave him confidence. Like, he was really good last year
for
too.
sure.
You could argue that he was maybe the Raptors' best player in the playoffs.
I would say so too. And it's funny because when he got traded from Orlando for pretty much Sabonis, I was like, yo, is this the like, is this the end?
Yeah,
Because usually that's what happens, right? Like,
yeah,
you're a good player, you're on your team that drafted you, everything's going well, then they just trade you to like a dumpster fire,
Yep.
and your career is done, and now you're fighting for like 1-year minimums everywhere you go.
yeah.
This guy got to Toronto and then like revitalized his
100%.
You know?
I thought the same thing was going to happen.
You know, and I'm glad, right? Because almost in a Vucevic kind of way, like his game, like the game got
For sure.
more tailored towards his style of play.
For sure, and he does it on both sides too.
Exactly, right?
Which is
now
huge
he's on
in
the
the playoffs.
Clippers. You know what I mean? They didn't pay him nothing to get him. They paid him like what, at least 10, 15 million.
Yeah, it was
What did they get?
really cheap.
And that's like for what he's given you. That's amazing. Like, you would think someone at this point in their career would give you like, you know, like they would get like, I don't know, 6-7 million.
If
But
he's
no,
5-6
still getting
years
good money.
younger, he's probably making like 20, upwards of 20.
If Ibaka was 6 years younger, he's who John Collins thinks he is.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, that's a really good comparison. Plus, he can defend.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. That's who he is. Yeah.
Totally agree with the Simmons thing, by the way. Just on paper, like 13, 6, and 8 doesn't really get you a all-star nod.
Yeah, and like 50% from free throw line, and you don't shoot threes.
And you don't shoot threes. And not only that, but like you look at the best team in the East, the second best player, but producing at a level that's like third best. Right?
Right,
Like, because if I put Harris's numbers and Simmons' numbers next to each other, like, you're gonna think, oh yeah, Harris is the number 2, and then Simmons is like a complimentary guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? The only thing I am going to say about Simmons this year, and I have him as my defensive player of the year, this guy, I've seen some games where there's things that just don't stand out on the stat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, I don't think I've ever seen a guy like play like tenacious defense like that in a very long time, and it's so easy for him because 1, 2, 3, and 4, he's switching no problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Size, speed, strength. And like, to bring it back to the Knicks, there was a game where early in the season, you know, RJ was playing really well in the beginning, right? Like, if he plays like Indiana, he's gonna drop like 25. That's a given. So he got a little hot in the beginning, and then boom, he plays Philly. And Simmons was on him the whole game.
Clamps, eh?
I swear to God, I'm like, yo, they threw him in Rikers Island, Clinton Correctional Facility. I swear to God, this guy was in jail. You know what I mean? And like, I know RJ's game, right? Like, it's drive to the basket. You know what I mean? It's some catch and shoots. It's, you know, a little floater. Like, he'll fake bunnies and then just throw a little like touch lob to like either Mitch or Noel. He couldn't get nothing off.
Yeah.
You know, he went into his whole bag of tricks.
Simmons, he's huge.
Yeah, Simmons like 6'9". He's just like locking him down, and he's like, "Okay, where are you gonna go?"
Yeah. Plus the wingspan. Plus, yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah. So defense is what really, I think, puts him to a level where it's like, you're an all-star. I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
If the offense ever came around, if the shooting ever came around, oh.
Yeah.
My God.
You just got to be respectable. Like, you don't have to hit 45% of your threes.
Yeah.
Just keep the defense honest. Like, even 35, 33, 34, 35, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not great, but just keep the defense honest.
But how much does that open the court for everyone else, right? Like, that's just like Danny Green, Seth Curry, not Danny Green, There's Seth Curry.
No, yeah, Danny Green.
Tobias. Oh no, you're right. You have Danny Green. Sorry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris. Like that's threes all day.
Yep.
Right. Arguably, Seth Curry might be the best 3-point shooter in the NBA. So that's
yep.
Neither here or there. But they just remind me of like the teams I would create in like NBA Live or 2K when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, 6'9", point guard, handles. You know what I mean?
Yo, it's crazy because it was back then. Like I used to do the same thing. It was so unrealistic. Like 6'9" guy was a point guard. Like it's so unrealistic.
Yeah,
like, it
and
doesn't
I'm
even
coming
make
down
sense.
the court and I'm just like, crossing like Gary Payton, Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
I'm dunking on Shaq, and I'm just like, oh, I'm the man.
So unrealistic, and now it's like reality.
Like 6'6",
literally.
You know.
Yeah.
And then like the big, I used to make like a big, and then like I'd make him like enormous, but he could shoot like lights out. So it's pretty much Simmons and Embiid, right? Like they're like a video game pairing, and then they have Tobias Harris, who's like a really good third guy. I mean, overpaid, I will say that, but still a very good player this year, I think, and that's one of my snubs
for sure. West.
Okay. West. Going down my list, the one thing that really got me upset was Luka only beat Dame by like, I don't even know how much, but it wasn't much. But he beat him by the fan vote, and they gave him the starter,
right?
As opposed to giving Dame, because Dame blew him out with the media players and whatever the one was. And when I looked at that, I was like, bro, this is just a popularity contest. Like, you know what I mean? Because Dame is deserving. Dame puts asses in seats at the end of the day. But Luka is Luka, and Luka is worldwide. Like he's international. So it's an easy call for Adam Silver. The other one that really kind of, and maybe this is because I don't like the guy as much as I like other players, but Zion.
Really?
Like, I don't know, man. Like, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. It's just there's certain things about his game that I'm just like, how do you like? I'll watch like a game and I'm like, this guy got 3 rebounds. This the same guy who can dunk on like anybody, can run into the lanes and just overpower anybody. But then when it comes to like getting rebounds, unless it's his own rebound, he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm good.
I think that's
why maybe defense. By the way, sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
Like just horrendous.
The thing that I love about him though is just he stays within what he's good at. Like, we can say the same thing about Simmons. Like, he stays with what he's really good at. But Simmons averages 13 points. Like, if you're only good at driving, like, you're not going to shoot, you have to drive 10 times a game, 10, 15 times a game. Zion, everything is at the basket. And then once in a while, like, he'll keep the defense honest. He'll shoot 2 or 3 threes a game once every 5-6 games just to keep the defense on it. That's what I like about him. So, like, he doesn't try to do... Will his 3-point shooting come? I don't know. Maybe not. But I think he has so much athletic ability at the rim that even if he doesn't get the 3-point shot going, he's going to be okay because his team's going to surround him, whoever it is, Van Gundy or whoever the next coach is, they're going to surround him with 3-point shooters. So, which I'm surprised they're not using Redick. I get that they're trying to trade him probably. So that's why probably they're not using him. They want to keep him healthy, whatever, whatnot. But that's just my take on Zion. Like, so the funny thing is, no one talked about Zion until last week. Then he started putting up these crazy games where he's like 25, 26, 30 points a game. And then now he's back. Where do we rank Zion in like the best young players when like 2 weeks ago no one was even mentioning his name? Although a lot of that has to do with Pelicans just not being very good. So
yeah, and sometimes when I look at it, I'm like, what would Zion be like the point guard version? He'd be Ja Morant. Right?
Yeah.
Like he'd literally just be Ja Morant.
Yeah. And
Ja Morant has so many point guards ahead of him that are so much better that he might not make an All-Star game until like year 5? Maybe?
There's a lot of good guards out west, yeah.
Right? Like being a guard in the West is like, if you're not elite.
Being a guard, honestly, in general, man. Kyrie, Harden.
Yeah.
Like, man, there's a lot of good point guards.
Like, there's a lot of guys that actually benefited from Derrick Rose's injury. And I've been saying this since like 2012. Would John Wall make some of those All-Star games?
Yeah.
If Derrick Rose was still
for sure
banging on guys' heads and stuff?
I agree.
Do you know what I mean? But
I agree.
Zion, I don't know, man. That just... obviously, he's not starting, so it was fair. But at the same time, I'm like, like this guy, his game just irks me a little bit because I'm like, with all that athleticism, with all that talent, and with him, playing his game where it's like, this is what I do, this is what I'm good at, but I'll keep you honest. Like, he plays a little bit reckless.
Mm-hmm.
Like his landing, his takeoffs.
Yeah,
like,
he's gonna have to work on that.
He has to work on that, otherwise he's not gonna make it to year 6.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
There's his effort on defense and his rebounding. Like, bro, this guy doesn't show it. Like, I want to see a dog out there. Like, I want to see the same guy that is ready to break the rim. I want to see you rip someone's shoulder out of their socket going for a rebound because then guess what? No one's gonna jump with you, and then now rebounding's easier. Right. Because everyone's like, oh, this guy's prime young Charles Barkley with like Blake Griffin and all these things, and then Barkley was like, no, he's not. He goes, I don't remember a game I got less than 10 rebounds.
Right.
He goes, that was my goal. I came in the game and I wanted 10 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this guy, like, there's games where like I'm looking at the box score, 3 rebounds.
Yeah.
Right. Like another thing, look at Ingram, assists,
100%.
Rebounds. I swear to God, if he even gets 2. I
think I was looking at it last night. I think he's like 7 and 5. I think 7 rebounds and 5 assists a game, I think, or something like that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The assists are fine, but I agree.
It's ridiculous, man. Like Ingram, he took a step up this year, so that's cool. So Pelicans are definitely going to get to where they want to get to. But just going down my list, the Jazz had 2 with Mitchell and Gobert.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Some people think Conley's a snub, but I'm like, bro, at this point of his career, he's been a career snub. Let's just put it to rest.
I thought, who I actually thought was kind of maybe a snub, although, and this team is not. Like, DeMar's been really good this season.
I had DeMar as my honorable mention, to be honest with you. I actually did. Like,
I thought he was really good this season. And I get Utah, I get that they're the number 1 seed and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna have to. I'm not a Mitchell guy. I'm not a Gobert guy. Like Mitchell's shooting 43%. Really? No, I don't like either guy.
I'm actually of the thinking that like, for me, Mitchell is the West version of
Zach
Tatum to a certain extent. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
They have only played in the playoffs since they came to the NBA. Mm-hmm. We can't say that about a lot of young guys where they came into a situation. And they've been right into the thick of things.
Playoffs right away. Yeah, you're right.
They've barely ever been bounced in like the first round right away. Like they at least make some noise. Last year, we can count that as a first round exit, but it came down to the last shot.
Yeah.
Game 7 against, and they were the 4th, and Denver I think was 5th seed. So
yeah,
Mitchell has the experience. He is getting playoff reps. He has a running mate in Gobert who I'm not the biggest fan of, but I respect him at the end of the day. Double machine, defensive anchor in the paint. You know what I mean? So I'm a big Mitchell fan. Super big Mitchell fan.
Okay.
Just running off the rest of my list. LeBron AD, Kawhi PG, Paul Booker. Booker, of course, being a replacement for AD. Dame should have been a starter, but it is what it is.
So you would have had Dame instead of Doncic, right?
As a starter, yes. Just like Luka's still an all-star. It's just I would have given Dame the nod for starter.
That's very interesting because there's like apart from Luka, you can't really throw any of those other guys out of the starting spot. Maybe Steph.
Oh, even
I know,
him.
same. I know, but I'm saying
I wish I could, but I can't.
You're not a Curry guy?
No, I'm saying I wish I could take Curry.
Oh,
out,
okay.
But, what could I do?
Yeah, you literally can't. You can't take LeBron out. You can't take Kawhi out. You cannot take Jokic out.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
The only person that, when I look at the pairs, if you look at the teams ranked 1 to 4, they have 8 All-Stars.
So that's like half the team.
That's half the team.
More.
If not more.
More,
right?
yeah.
Like Gobert Mitchell, LeBron AD, Kawhi PG, Chris Paul, Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Right? And then you can maybe scratch out Davis if you want. But either way, he gets the All-Star.
Let me ask you a question. If Davis's numbers were what they are, do you think he would have made... I don't think he's an All-Star player with the numbers that he's putting up this season.
Well, that's the thing. the bar for AD is like you have to score 28 points, get
13,
12
14
rebounds, 15 rebounds, whatever, maybe a block or two, and like 4 or 5 assists.
Yeah.
And like, I really think he is capable of that. I don't think he's not capable. I think he's literally just in cruise control. Because I think he realized, I was putting up 26, 12, and 4 in New Orleans, and I was on time having a vacation in April every fucking year.
Every year, yeah.
Right? And then he's like, now I got a championship. He goes, I'll pace myself.
Yeah.
Although I thought LeBron was going to pace himself.
Did they beat Portland that one year?
They did. They beat Portland.
Right, it was like 7, and then they got bounced in 4 the year previous, and then they lost after Portland. They got
I don't even consider that like making a playoff berth, just because I feel like, is that even fair? Like, out of the how many years you're there, you went once. That's like me saying, Melo, he took us to the second round in 2013. Like,
yeah, I agree.
That doesn't count. We still had 2 decades of terrible basketball.
So let me ask you one question about a guy he's missed a lot of playing time, but he was really good. Christian Wood.
You know what? When I was going through all
Zion doesn't make it
I think so too. Because this kid, albeit unsung hero and all these things, dude, this guy, like, his game is like perfect for this NBA, right? And like, I thought, okay, they got Harden, an extra guy, and you know what I mean, like that inside-outside game.
That's what I thought too.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
and experiment a little bit with going a little bit bigger than what they have in the past.
Exactly.
With like a new coach and like I agree.
Yeah,
I was the same
way. New system, new philosophy. Because historically they've been going so small. It's like, okay, let's just bring it back. Like, like now we have a guy who can kind of rim run, but he can shoot threes. He can defend. He can run in transition. Like, he's a Swiss Army knife. Like, you can do anything with this guy.
For sure.
But obviously Harden wanted out, and then all these trades happened. So that was that. But you know what? If Wood is healthy and doesn't miss those games and all that, if somebody had to go, it's Zion. And I think that the rationale there is he's not there yet. It's only year 2.
Right.
Right? Whereas making All-Star in year 2, like, for what Trey and Luka did last year, that's very impressive.
I agree. Right?
Because usually guys don't make it that fast. It's like, it's not easy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, again, just going on the rest of the list, after Dame, it was DeMar, honorable mention. Jokic, well-deserved. Steph Curry, I really can't take anything away from him. Luka, deserving. I had my notes here say Grizzlies' jaw was hurt.
Yeah,
and
he was.
That's all I can say. Like, he was hurt, but we don't know. Because I don't think he's knocking anybody off of this.
No, absolutely not.
But,
like, Chris Paul's numbers aren't that great, but I think he's just been in the league for so long, and like, it's almost like a respect thing. Like, he's averaging, I just looked at, I think like 16 and 9 or something. Like, the numbers aren't crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't scream like, oh my god, 2008 campaign where he's like, supposed to get MVP or
I agree.
Whatever. I just think it's his impact alone. Like, when you just take one guy,
for sure,
put him on a team, and you say go, and they go from basically, 10th last year, 9th. They just missed out they were in the play-in, right? And then they won 7 in a row, and then they missed the play-in. No, they missed the play-in. Was Memphis, Portland, right?
Yeah.
Portland won, so they would have been like 10th, I guess. Yeah. So to go from 10th to like right now 4th, that's pretty good. They're only really behind Jazz, Lakers, Clippers.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
That's not bad, and they have a nice little young core as well. Like, they've drafted pretty well.
Oh my god, dude! Do you remember what I used to say about Cam Johnson? I was like, oh, that guy, what a waste of a draft pick.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Now look at him. I ate my words.
Lights out,
dude. That guy, and he got bigger. Like, he's not scrawny anymore. Huh?
So I watched him. Since I'm a North Carolina fan, I watched him the last season. So I don't remember him at Pittsburgh at all. And then he transferred to North Carolina. I'm like, who the hell is this kid? And everyone's like, oh, Cam Johnson's going to be a great part of this North Carolina team. He can hit threes. He can do all this. I'm like, let me watch this guy. And I was like, wow, this guy really is like automatic. And then he got picked. And I remember like the rumors prior to the draft were like, Cam Johnson is climbing up the the ranks and like people. I'm like, this always happens. See, no one's taking him. 12th overall. Here comes Cam Johnson. Like, holy cow.
Even Kobe White, right? Like, Kobe White had the legendary...
amazing. I still love that. Wow.
Wow, are you serious?
Bro, are you serious?
That's
You guys don't know how hard Cam works.
It's crazy. I swear, it's like, looking back at some drafts, like, I look back and I go, oh, man, I would pay money to just, like, have this player instead of this player.
100, yeah.
But, you know, I mean, that's a whole other topic I can't wait to
for sure
discuss. And then the last note I had was Kings poor De'Aaron Fox, because his numbers scream all-star, his record doesn't, and his team is definitely not going to help.
Yeah, and another point guard, and like, where do you fit him into all of this?
Yeah,
I think, honestly, I think if they're a little better, he's probably taking out Chris Paul, maybe.
I mean, yeah, like, if Chris Paul decides to retire, or you get like that random injury and say...
Sorry, I meant like this year, if like Kings were at least a half decent team, if they were in the playoffs, I think he takes off maybe Chris Paul, because like whatever De'Aaron Fox's numbers are, I know they're really good. Like, he's probably taking Chris Paul off the team. And last year, I actually thought that he had an off season, Fox, and I think he was injured quite a bit last season as well. And his numbers were all that. I was like, oh man, I really like this guy, but his numbers aren't all that. So. Like, I hope this isn't, like, the end of him, because we've only seen one really good season of him, and now he's gone. But he is really good. One more point I'd like to make about De'Aaron Fox. If I'm Sacramento, and I think I already talked to this about in the group chat, like, I'm maybe trading the guy, and I'm getting some pieces back for him, because you have Halliburton, who's been absolutely outstanding this season. You could argue maybe the second-best rookie behind LaMelo Ball. You could start him, and you could get something for Fox. You can dangle Heald. You can dangle Barnes. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you can do here. So it will be interesting, and I wouldn't put it past Sacramento to not dangle him in trade talks. So,
you know what? If I'm them, I'm keeping Barnes until like the contract's like ready to expire, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then Heald, that just looks like something where it's like, just let the contract run its course. Don't even touch it.
Yeah. And they signed him this summer, did they not? What was that last summer?
I think the deal starts this past summer.
And he's 4 years, I think.
Last fall.
Last fall? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, my timelines are all
same, because I don't know, like with the Corona stuff and everything being pushed back. I have nothing.
Fall, I'm like, I don't know what's what, but he got paid when Jalen got paid. That's what I remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So outside of that, the only thing I wanted to maybe touch on was like, teams 1 through 8 in the East. There's 9 All-Stars and 4 out of 5 starters. Pretty simple.
Makes sense.
Like, makes sense. Teams 9 to 15, 4 All-Stars, 1 starter, with Beal being that exception. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, check out how top-heavy the West is. Remember I mentioned 1 to 4, there's 8 All-Stars? Right. 1 to 8, 11 All-Stars.
Ooh.
And 4 out of 5 starters. If it wasn't for, I guess, Davis. Davis would have been the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
But that... Or actually, no.
Yeah,
Davis would have been... actually, no. Is he a starter?
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't a starter. He's a bench.
LeBron, Kawhi,
Luka, Kyrie, and Jokic.
That's the one. Okay, sorry. So it's still 4 out of 5 starters. And then teams 9 to 15, and oddly enough, of course, it's the 9th ranked team. Mm-hmm. 1 starter, 1 All-Star, being Luka. So the West, it's difficult, man. Like, if you can win in the West, you're the man.
Absolutely.
So snubs, can't really think of any. I just had Conley in quotations, but that's not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Dame should be a starter, and DeMar honorable mention. Outside of that, they got everything on the money, I think.
I had, I would say Sabonis, because I just think that he should have been on the team. He should have been an all-star, not a replacement for an injury. Like, hey, someone's injured.
Yeah,
we see that.
That's Booker 2 years in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so Sabonis, honestly, as a Toronto fan, Fred VanVleet's been pretty good, but maybe that's just because he's been the only guy who's been freaking healthy.
That's my East honorable mention. Like, I had like 1 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
2, well, a current and a former. Fred VanVleet mention for East, and DeMar honorable mention for the West.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The only, like, not the only bright spot, but like the guy who's really like, steady Freddy, like they call him, very consistent.
Exactly.
Look at his numbers across the board. It's like 26 and 6.
Yeah.
20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists.
Yeah.
Like, he's just
undrafted.
Yeah, man. You can't make that up.
Yeah.
Bet on yourself.
Exactly.
He has a documentary coming out?
I didn't know. No, I had no idea.
Yeah. Apparently, he has a documentary coming out, and it's like the title is something about like gambling or something, but it's like kind of like the whole premise is like bet on yourself.
Oh, okay.
And how he was able to succeed on, betting on himself, of course.
Very interesting. Well, I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Big Van Vliet fan. I really wish the Knicks got him, but it is what it is.
I do too. I like him too.
I know.
So if you want to shift gears, surprises in the NBA season, stuff that didn't really surprise you, that's kind of worked out the way it's supposed to. Players maybe exceeding expectations, players not living up.
I'll start with what I'm surprised by, and of course I'm going to start with being a homer. My Knicks are playing pretty good. Kind of happy about that. Randle became an all-star. I kid you not, I wanted him traded. I literally wanted him traded before the season started. I was like, definitely we're going to get a first.
I've always been a Randle fan.
You know what's funny? I've always been a Randle fan too. When he went to the Pelicans, he was balling. Like,
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And even in LA, I always liked his game because I'm like, he's like Kobe said, he's a Lamar Odom in Zach Randolph's body.
100%.
Best comparison.
That's a very good comparison, actually.
Yeah, because he's like, you don't see a guy bulldoze to the rim but have like such a great touch around the basket.
Absolutely.
And now he's got an outside shot, so super happy with him. Emmanuel Quickly, I swear to God, like I was bullish on the Kentucky guards just because I was a little bit like, okay, is this finally the year where we're gonna get 2 duds as like Kentucky Wildcats? Totally wrong. The only 2 guys to drop over like 30 as rookies is like Quickly and Maxey.
Right? Yep, and that was the backcourt, right? Kentucky.
Yeah, that was literally their backcourt,
yeah.
And it was just they'd pull up, transition, guys like the big is not even in the paint.
Yeah,
let it fly, and you're thinking, oh no, and it's like cash every time. So like, I don't know what it is because I personally switched gears from being like a Syracuse fan because, geez, I just can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I am such a Kentucky fan now that like I'm all in on the Wildcats. Like,
and you left Syracuse. They beat North Carolina last night. It was actually
See, I can't keep up anymore. That kid from New York, Girardi or whatever. I can't keep up, man.
Oh, he's Canadian.
Is he Canadian actually?
Oh man.
I forget his name. Something Girardi.
Greer? Is that guy?
I forget. There's a guy that just shoots lights out. He's been there like 7 years. He's getting his master's.
Are you sure it's not Boeheim?
No, that guy's he's been there for like 100 years.
Literally, he's been there for 100 years.
No, not the son. I think the son's on the team, but somebody else. I can't remember.
It's for sure the guy I'm thinking of, and he's born in New York, but he's Canadian as far as I know.
I felt like I think
he's from Montreal because he has like a French last name.
Yeah, it's like Girardi.
For sure.
Like that. Yeah. But nonetheless, I super happy with the Knicks and Randle and Quickly.
So let me ask you: when the season started, where did you think that New York would be?
Oh, dead last. I was like for sure.
You actually thought that, really?
Yeah.
I thought beginning of the season, I said to myself they can be in that like the play-in game.
Play-in, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I've been used to like, oh no, it's a new year, new Knicks. It's like New Year's resolutions, right? Like, New year, new me. I'm going to be in the gym.
Yep.
January and quit by February.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it felt like. But I was like, okay, cool. We have a good coach. The front office got a makeover or a facelift. Dolan is still there, but hands off.
Mm-hmm.
And coming off a year like last year, I was just like, I'm like, I don't have hope like that. And I'm also banking on a really good draft because the draft class is so deep.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, for selfish reasons, like, oh, yeah, we'll be dead last. We'll get number 1. Like I tell myself every year.
Yeah.
And we'll just go about it that way. little did I know we'd be winning games, competing. We'd have an all-star. And actually, I'll be real. Like, I actually prefer this better than like tanking and the lottery and this and that. Like,
I've always said that too. If you can win games, man.
Yeah, because I watch this team every night. I watch them every night. It's fun for me. Like, I watch them, I'm like energized. I'm like, oh my god, this team's going off. This is crazy.
The defensive part of the game I didn't see coming. No, like being second is, and I actually looked up the defensive win shares. So Randle is third in the league. Norton's Noel is 18th, Mitchell 20th, Barrett 22nd. So that's 4 guys in the top 25.
Yeah, and when they played the Pacers, Randle threw Sabonis in jail. Like he literally was in his head and just like, and I'm like, yo, and Sabonis is strong as shit. So if you're like getting in his head, or like locking him up, you must be like certified. So he's a beast for that.
So he still has 1 more year left, right?
Yes,
he has this year and the following.
The team option, and because he made All-Star, it bumps him to like $20 million even, I think. So he would have been making like, I think 19 and a half, and then it bumped him to like 20 even.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll just rattle off a few other things that I was surprised at. Utah Jazz, I don't think anyone saw them coming.
Yep.
Like that. The Hawks really suck. Exact words, I wrote Hawks really suck. The reason I say that is because you don't get Gallinari, Rondo, and Dunn, and Bogdanovich.
And everyone's been injured.
Yes, everyone's been injured. I get that.
Dunn I completely forgot about.
Yeah, well,
I completely forgot about until you just mentioned it now.
But imagine going all in, like spending every penny of your salary cap.
Completely get it.
Complimentary pieces, thinking you're here.
Yeah.
Like they did everything Dallas should have did.
Yeah, 100%.
And they still suck. And I'm like, oh my god.
And their rookie's been injured. I don't know if he's been. Has he been injured most of the season, or does he just not play?
I have not seen him once.
I see that he's playing now a little bit more, and he gets like 10-15 minutes. So I don't know if he's been injured or if he just doesn't play. I assume he's injured. He was taken pretty high, and he's a good defender. I like Hunter's development though.
Yeah, he's stepping up.
He's actually pretty good.
Reddish is kind of just trailing behind a bit. Herder is like their Kevin Knox.
Surprised they haven't traded him.
Honestly, he's literally their Kevin Knox. Like, if you ask, like, if you get it deep into Hawks Twitter, they'll tell you, like, oh yeah, Kevin Herder, man, he doesn't have it. Like, he's not a basketball player. You know what I mean? And when I hear people talk like that, I'm like, holy shit, that's Kevin Knox. But yeah, him. That team's got there's some hits and there's some misses.
For sure.
Collins turning down that extension is gonna, I think that's gonna haunt him. I'm not sure. We'll see by the end of the year. Beal, Drummond, and Griffin not traded yet, or I guess for the last 2 bought out. I'm just waiting for that to happen.
Did you see the stat this year that, sorry to cut you off, that Griffin hasn't had like any dunks?
Oh, a dunk, in like what, 3 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Dude, if you went from LA to Detroit, bro, even if you had a 40-inch vertical, you wouldn't dunk. You'd be like, let me just lay the ball at that point. Why am I here? Bro, to go from LA for 10 years to Detroit? To go from Staples Center to Little Caesars Arena?
Yeah.
Dude, that is different.
That team is interesting to me, though. Oh, it's just a bunch of guys slapped together, and they signed like 7 centers in the offseason.
They said Plumlee, Grant.
Oh, my God.
Everybody, just come on down.
Maybe Plumlee and Grant came in a package deal. But Grant could be a snub, actually.
You know what? That's probably another one.
Totally forgot about him.
But the team is so bad.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, I couldn't justify. Other things that I guess I'm kind of surprised with is the Heat finals hangover. They're kind of like fatigued and injured and sick, but they are missing that one guy, and I think that's going to be Oladipo next year. Like, all the writing is on the wall as far as like them and Oladipo.
Not that they'd ever admit it, but they regret not trading for Harden.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think if you put all those guys that would have been in the Harden trade apart from Bam, because I think Bam was safe. Like, they were never going to part ways with Bam. If you put any of those guys in trade, like, none of those guys, if you're making a big three, none of those guys are in your big three. Like, Nunn's not going to be in your big three.
No, Hero's not going to be your big three.
Hero's not going to be in your big three. Robinson is going to be in your big three.
Nope.
So, I don't know. You can't, you're not going to give up Nunn in a first for Harden. You have to give up something. And if Bam, Butler, and Harden aren't enough for you to get out of the East, I don't know what to tell you, because two of those three guys can play defense. And
guess what? You still keep a lot of your depth, too.
Exactly. And there's that Strus guy who's like there's that Strus guy who's hitting threes like he's like everyone else on the team. And you still have Dragic. I know he's older, but he's still
and he's
valuable.
Still very serviceable.
Yeah.
Very serviceable.
Of course.
One thing that I would say is it's one of those things that you got to do, kind of like Elton Brand. He said, instead of Embiid getting locked up by Horford, let me just sign Horford.
Yeah.
Although that was dumb of him to do.
Yeah.
In this scenario,
didn't work out. Yeah.
You gotta get Harden so your opponent doesn't get Harden.
Yeah.
Because it fits and it makes sense.
Yeah. And all the rumors were that Harden was going to come to the East, pretty much, right? Like there was maybe Clippers, but that was never really like.
If Miami ever says like, yo, we're interested, Miami says they're interested, who is not gonna go?
There's no tax too, right? Or it's very little.
Yeah, it's a little. It's like I'm pretty sure no state tax, and it's like it's Miami. Like who doesn't want to be there?
Yeah. I agree. No, I totally agree.
So that's my take on the Heat. Also, All-Star game happening actually. Like, although this is my thoughts from like maybe a month ago, but I still feel that way. Like, why is it even? I don't know.
I agree. I agree with that.
Last point, as far as what I'm surprised with, is the Blazers haven't made a trade, man. They're just really sticking to their guns.
Yeah, and they've done it for a long time. Very interesting.
They don't make big splashes. It's just like small ones.
I'm surprised that backcourt is still like they're both very good players. Don't get me wrong, but like you've tried this for 4 or 5 years now, and it's really not working out. I don't know. Maybe adding Covington, he can play defense, but that's like the only guy on the team who could play defense. Nazir Little's starting to play a lot better.
He had a phenomenal game the other day.
Yeah,
like he was playing like high school.
Yeah,
Nazir Little,
McDonald's All-American.
Yeah, McDonald's All-American. Like, don't forget the name Nazir Little.
Yeah.
So I was super happy with him, and you know what? I think eventually they'll just package a bunch of their young guys like Simons. And
they have a lot of guys. Yeah, they have a lot of guys.
Trent or whatever, even though he's due for money.
Yeah.
So some of the things I'm not surprised with. LeBron, year 18, not surprised there.
Mm-hmm.
The Nuggets, slow start a little bit.
Yeah.
Murray not being who he was in the bubble a little bit, but he kind of caught up a bit, so that's okay. Embiid is balling and he's winning.
Didn't see it coming.
Did not see both of those things happening.
No.
Beal is balling and he's losing.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Didn't see that coming either.
The Suns, Paul and Booker, they mesh really well. So like there was no transition. They just they've been getting used to each other and doing it as they're winning games. So
I agree.
Who knows? LaMelo, I am not surprised on one hand because I think he is like one of those like semi-generational talents.
Yeah.
Like generational as in like holy shit. Like out the gate this guy's gonna be a 25-5-5 like stud.
Yep.
But on the other hand, like still early, this could be Tyreek Evans all over again. But,
man, I'm
sold so far. Like,
I'm not surprised. I'm shocked he's this good. Like his he shot I think 20% from 3 in Australia. He's at like 36% here. And he takes funny? A lot. Like it's not like he's taking 2 or 3 a game.
Volume shoot.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? Like I was following this kid's like whole story or whatever. The funny thing is about this kid is someone mentioned it that like either he's really smart and he plays dumb.
Yeah.
Or the people around him are presenting him in a certain way where he's desirable to places he wants to go.
Yeah.
And undesirable to places he doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
Because the way the draft worked out was Minnesota, Golden State, Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently his interviews with Minnesota and Golden State were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then and they were just like, yeah, we got our guys. Don't worry, it's not LaMelo.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Charlotte, big smile on his face, gets there. Him and Miles Bridges are Airbnb.
Yeah.
Hayward's there. Like, bro, this team is turning up. And I actually like watching them. It's crazy.
They're very similar to like a lot of like it's just a bunch of guys that they've drafted. They've done a good job of drafting so far, like in the last 2-3 years, like considering how bad it was before. But they're very similar to like, I guess Denver has a lot of pieces on their bench, like with Monte Morris and stuff like that, and like the Celtics. It's just a lot of guys who are finally maybe coming, are scratching the surface how good they can be.
Yeah, I will say though, the Celtics low key. There's been some quiet bad draft picks, like
there has
Langfords.
Are those bad draft picks though, or is it just guys not getting time because those guys don't play at all?
That's true too.
But I would say okay, it's fair enough to say bad draft picks.
But they have Peyton Pritchard, so that kind of for every since Tatum, I would say like have they really landed another guy? Because all they really ever did was Smart, Brown, Tatum.
Yeah.
And they only got Brown and Tatum from a ridiculous haul of a trade.
Oh, that was from the Nets, right?
Yeah, both picks were from the Nets.
Both,
and who else does it? Like they signed Hayward, they signed they traded for Kyrie.
Kyrie, yeah.
They signed Kemba.
Yep.
What else is there?
Oh, they drafted Rozier, did they not?
They drafted Rozier. They let him walk. And the crazy thing is, he went to Kemba's team, and Kemba came to Rozier's team.
Yeah.
And both guys are making like Rozier makes half of what Kemba makes. Yeah. He's playing way better this year.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Insane. After that, not surprised Lloyd Pierce got fired. T-Wolves suck.
T-Wolves should have. I think you and I talked. They should have traded that pick. Like that's the guys at the top of the draft. I don't get not taking Wiseman though. Like I get Cat, but Wiseman doesn't even start for the Golden State Warriors. Like he does on and off, but like he wouldn't have because you have to go into the draft thinking, okay, we've been really bad for 3 or 4 seasons now. If we're bad this season, Cat's gonna have to leave, which I think he will eventually, and then D'Angelo Russell is probably gonna leave as well. So you might as well bring in some guys, and even if they don't start, it's not a very good draft. So a lot of the guys are probably going to be coming off the bench anyways. So why not just draft someone who can come off the bench? You're still going to give them minutes. Look, it's a pandemic. The guys were going to be out for games. Like we knew that guys would eventually catch the virus or whatever. You're going to get blown out in a lot of games, so guys are going to play in those as well. I don't know, Anthony Edwards. I just don't like his game. I think he's a volume shooter, and I think that's what he's going to be his entire career. But like you could have traded, and you could have at least got a 3-and-D guy somewhere, or something. For
sure. You could have legit gotten a wing player that's versatile, that can play like a 3-4 kind of position, and be the 1-2 with Cat, and D'Lo's your third.
Exactly.
Right, and then you're not so bad, right? Because D'Lo is your third is okay, and then now you're in a kind of like a win now kind of mode.
Yeah.
And who knows, right? Like maybe you trade that, you get a pick swap later, and you still draft somebody decent, but going all in on Edwards, man, it's just another sign that like Minnesota still doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah,
and they've had, to be fair, a lot of guys have, like Cat's missed a lot of time. Russell's missed a lot of time. Malik Beasley, is he like in jail or something? Like because of the thing that happened this summer or whatever.
Situation.
Yeah. Like it, I don't know.
Not only that, but like if you look at it, like I don't think Russell and Towns have played that many games together. They played one game last year before the season got shut down.
Yeah.
And then this year it's like one's been off, the other's been off.
Yeah.
They haven't really played together to get that chemistry and cohesion. So they've been off. So I don't know.
And it sucks because it's not really a basketball market. Like it's as weird as it is to say, because there's not a lot of really good hockey markets in the States. But like Minnesota's a kind of hockey market, I guess, in the States.
Yeah, it's more hockey, football, then baseball, then basketball. I'd say.
Yeah.
No one's running to Minnesota.
Exactly.
But did you want to maybe wrap up with the picks? And I was hoping I would be Team KD. Obviously, with my shooting skill set. That's who I modeled my game after. So you can be LeBron, and we could maybe pick the starters, and I'm going to jot it down.
Sure.
And I guess
since you're a guest, you could go first.
No. LeBron is the leading vote getter, so LeBron gets first pick.
All right.
I get first pick of the reserves.
All right.
So I'll let you go first.
All right.
for the
First pick.
The Blago Blabber's pick.
Team LeBron is taking Luka.
Luka. Okay. I like that. This is going to be interesting because I get 5. So with my 5, I'm going to go with Joel Embiid.
Okay.
Embiid to kick things off.
All right. Joel.
Okay.
Career year. I'll take Nikola. Jokic.
Ooh, Jokic. For international. I think I know where you're going with your next pick. Okay. With my second pick, I am going to go with Kawhi Leonard.
Makes sense. Ooh. Now it gets a little bit interesting. So my 4th pick. I'll take Kyrie.
Kyrie. You're burning the sage tonight. I'm going to go with Giannis.
Okay.
Going all big.
My final, to round off this, I'll take Steph Curry.
Oh, you ruined me. Okay. I guess I still have 2 starters left to pick. So maybe we'll let you get first pick of the reserves. That way it makes sense, right? Instead of me going like back to back.
You have Beal though, right?
Oh no, I haven't. I only went Embiid, Kawhi, Giannis. So my next pick would be.
Oh right, because KD's. Right.
Yeah, because KD's out. So I'm gonna take Beal. I need a guard.
Okay.
So Beal is my pick, and then I'll let you get first dibs at. Because I think for me, I have to round out my team with Tatum. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Because that's what's okay. So I'll put Tatum down because that's what's left out of the starters, and then I'll let you get first pick of the reserves. So now we're
okay.
AD and company.
All right. There's a lot of guys here.
I know it's a complete mixed bag. Like you can.
Now it's a complete mixed bag. Yeah.
Yeah, you can go nuts. It's whatever.
I'll take Harden.
Oh, look at this guy. Piece of work. Took my 2 teammates from me. Okay, I'm going to take. Oh, that one hurt. That one really hurt. Okay, I think I know what I need to do now. I think I know what I'm going to do. Dame time. Let's go.
Ooh.
Dame.
I was debating that actually too.
Oh, that one hurt. Harden, I was leaning in that direction.
All right. PG.
PG. Okay. I am going to take. Oh man, I feel like I'm so stacked on bigs, so I'm kind of good on that. Give me Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
Mr. D. Mitch.
I mean, what's a LeBron team without Chris Paul?
Oh, bad boat. The bad Banana boat is back. All right. Let's go with... Let's go with Ben Simmons. Let's go Ben Simmons.
All right. I don't have big, so I'm going to take Gobert.
Gobert. Not bad. I feel like my team was already kind of big, so I'm like,
It makes sense, and my team's too small.
Oh, I know. This is going to be a weird matchup. Okay, let's go with... We're getting to thick of things here. I'm going to take a... Oh, no, AD's not playing. Just gave my cards away. I'm going to take Jaylen Brown.
All right. Zion.
You want to give up rebounds, huh? Okay. Oh, man. I'm looking at this team, and I'm like, yo, what's friggin' left? Okay, I know who's left. I'm not going to rattle out any names. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to take my guy, Julius Randle.
All right.
Very, it's very on cue, right on time.
Surprised it took you this long.
I know, right?
I'll take Sabonis.
Sabonis. Not bad. You gotta love my reaction to every pick. It's like I'm shocked.
I like it.
Right in front of me. I have it right in front of me. I am going to go with Booker.
Okay.
Because I'm a big Booker fan, I'm not gonna lie.
I'll take LaVine.
I'm gonna take LaVine.
And you have Vucevic.
Then I get... So that rounds out just about everybody.
Yep.
Okay, so Team Augie, LeBron, Luka, Jokic, Kyrie, Curry as your starters. And then Harden, PG, CP3, Gobert, Zion, Sabonis, and LaVine as your reserves.
Yep.
Okay, and then for me, on Team KD, with an asterisk because I've got, he's injured. I've got Embiid, Kawhi, Giannis, Beal, and Tatum as my starters. And then Dame, Donovan Mitchell, Ben Simmons, Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle, Devin Booker, and Vucevic as my team. So yeah, a lot of bigs. I surprisingly went big, and near the end was like, fuck, I need shooting, I need guards, I need a lot.
I went too small from the beginning because I don't really have a.
But you know what though? If you look at your starters, it's like LeBron 6'8", Luka whatever 6'6".
Yeah. Jokic is like 6
foot.
Yeah.
Like that's all you need. And then Kyrie, Curry, I think they'll both be happy they're playing alongside each other, not against each other.
Yeah, that's true.
Both guys don't play defense and give each other nightmares. So, take from that what you will. But yeah, maybe we'll post these teams or something.
I'll post it in the. I'll post it in the when I post the actual episodes.
Yeah.
So this will be posted. I'll post this on both, obviously Anchor and then the YouTube stuff as well. So I'll post it on there as well.
For sure.
Did you want to get to the mid-season awards?
You know what? I can just rattle it off real quick.
Go ahead.
The first two, obviously, I'm being a homer. Most improved, I'm going to give it to Julius.
Okay.
Because I feel like that jump, not a lot of guys have really made that same leap.
I had Christian Woods missed a lot of games, but Jeremy Grant. Oh,
you know what? That's actually a way better one than See, I just wasn't thinking. I never really think like, oh yeah, Detroit. Like, I don't know why.
Same.
But that's just me. Coach of the year, I'm gonna give it to Tibbs. I feel like
I agree with that.
What this guy's worked with, complete dog shit, and he somehow turned chicken shit into chicken salad. So,
yeah, and I agree with Tibbs because people are saying like Utah's coach Snyder, but a lot of people already had Utah making the playoffs, and I get that they're like number one, which is crazy and all this stuff, but they've lost 3 of their last 6, so they're 3-3 in their last 6. Obviously, we'll see where it goes from here, but I think what Tibbs has done with a roster that's not really that great if you look at it, like there's a lot of young guys on there, Tibbs for sure, for me as of right now, and they're playing like almost the best defense in the league, so 100%.
Yeah,
Tibbs.
And Snyder had this team last year. There's
exactly.
Not really much, changeover.
For sure.
Rookie of the year, LaMelo. I think that's pretty easy.
Yep.
6th man of the year. I'm hoping maybe we're on the same page here. I said Jordan Clarkson.
Yes, that's exactly who I thought.
That's who you had.
I don't really have any like. Montrez has been good, but like it's not. I don't know. I just feel like it's not what it was last year. Lou's fallen off completely. If Norm was coming off the bench, you could have him, but he starts a lot of games, and he's way better as a starter. So I think Clarkson by far. I don't know anyone else. No one else comes to mind off the top of my head.
He's putting up like an 18 or something. Like,
yeah.
Game. Like
yeah.
He's lights out.
Really good this year.
Defensive player of the year. I think we might disagree. I had Ben Simmons.
I don't disagree with that.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No. I don't.
If you had a runner-up, who would you go with?
Probably Gobert.
Yeah, that's like super safe.
I don't know. I don't really know who else. Like AD's missed too many games to be even in the conversation. Obviously. Chris Paul. I don't watch too many other games, so I don't know. And he's getting older. PG's pretty good, but I think Gobert is like the. I don't agree with a lot of the like. Gobert's a really good. Yeah, he's a really good defender, but he's also like 7'6", and he can block anything that comes into the lane. So
it's almost.
I'm not taking away anything from his game because you still have to block those shots, but like he already has an advantage over everyone. So.
Oh, absolutely.
But I agree with Simmons 100%.
For sure. And to round everything off, MVP I had Embiid.
Okay. I would probably.
I think Jokic is hot on his tail though.
If Jokic's team was a little bit better, I would agree. I honestly would have LeBron as the MVP.
Yeah, that's another good one too.
I think that's
LeBron, what he's doing, where his team's at, no AD, and depending on how this season kind of goes, this weird COVID year, it's gonna be the weirdest year because we're gonna look back and be like, oh yeah, that was the COVID year, right?
Right.
Like the same way we discredit like Steve Nash sometimes for his MVPs.
Oh
yeah, which one are you talking about? The one where he stole from Kobe or the one he stole from Shaq? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's always funny like when we look back and be like, oh yeah, you mean the random year that like Randle was an all-star?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And I'm not even taking, like when I say LeBron, I'm not even taking into consideration like the year 8. I don't care about the year 18 stuff or 17, whatever. It's just his numbers are really good, and you know, although his 3-point has tailed off a little bit, but it's still a really good season. So
absolutely, he's.
But Embiid, I can see Embiid if he continues doing this. I think Embiid, just the thing with Embiid, and the thing now with like media and stuff is everything being so big and like magnified. Like if you have 2 bad games, you're toast, which I don't agree with. But like Embiid had 2 really bad games. He's had 2 really bad games against the Raptors, and he had I think 2 or 3 really bad games the last week or the week before that, and everyone's like, no, that's it. He's out of the conversation. Like we're getting like carried away now. Like. Look at the players' numbers throughout the entire season, man, and make a decision on who your MVP is. Don't tell me when you go to vote. Remember those 3 games in January that he had where he shot under 25%? Like, who cares, man? What do those numbers look like over the entire season and vote?
Yeah, show me the course of the entire year. I don't want to hear anything else. Like,
exactly, and he's saying the only thing that might hinder Embiid, he's missed some games, and like in a shortened season, it means so much more. Which I think he's missed 6, which isn't that bad, but I can see how people are going to get petty over it and say, no, it doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, like, and when you think about it, like, these games are so close together that it's like, you miss 1, you might miss 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, everything's just so heightened this year. So
exactly.
It's like, you know, you miss a little bit, it feels like a lot. And the All-Star game is really only coming after 30-something games. That's not a lot.
I think it's this week, right? So it's going to be after like 35,
it's literally
40.
This weekend.
Yeah.
And they're picking on Thursday.
Tomorrow. Yeah, 2 days.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So, like, this is fast. Like,
Totally agree with you. And the worst part is about some of the guys who I don't think Embiid falls into this category, but like the guys who get COVID and it's not necessarily their fault, they're missing games. Like, can you imagine being in an MVP race and then you get COVID and then you can't play in the 6 games? And it's not really like, depending on what you're doing. Like, let's say you're just a guy who gets it somehow from the staff or something. Like, it's not even your fault, right? Like, so it's a very interesting season. But
yeah, we literally went from like Blake Griffin punching the equipment manager to like Gobert just gave 10 equipment managers COVID.
Yeah.
3 of them are on the ventilator. You
know? And I'm shocked that, like, I thought Gobert or Mitchell would be traded this offseason because I didn't think they would be able to work it out.
I remember that.
I didn't think that they would be able to work it out. I'm like, one's got to go.
I was, obviously, second a player is available. I'm on it. I was like looking up every Photoshop of like Mitchell in a New York jersey. His dad works for he's from New York. His dad works for the Mets. All these things. Like he's
really?
Yeah, dude. He's from New York. Like his dad works for the Mets. He's a big Mets fan. Like everything about him just screams New York. His nickname is the Spider. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, New York City. Like it all ties back to New York for him. And at the time, I was like, yo, if he's unhappy, and Leon Rose was his former agent, and all these things that are connecting, it's like, if he does force a trade and he decides to go to New York, I wouldn't be too shocked. But at the same time, I was like, you know what, Utah's gonna rip us for like every asset. So it's like, what's the point? He'll come here and play by himself. Yeah,
literally.
The starting lineup is little fucking Nikola and Mitchell. Like, you know what I mean? And oddly enough, they're good friends too. So like, there's so many signs, but obviously you can't rely on signs, right? Like,
right.
Shit has to actually manifest and come true.
100%.
But no, I definitely agree. Like that's where we were last year around the bubble, and here we are, the number 1 seed. So I think they kind of kissed and made up. Yeah.
Well, hopefully for their sake, that's the case.
Hopefully, but that's the NBA now.
For sure. Anything else?
No, that's kind of it for me. I think with trades coming up and trade deadline around the corner, I don't expect some guys to maybe be on their respective teams. I think any of the Drummond, Blake Griffin buyout guys, like those guys are going to get bought out and be on new teams. I think anywhere between Beal, LaVine, and Oladipo might get traded.
Right.
And we'll just have to wait and see how that all pans out. But
let's see how this works out. If we can get together again and we could discuss it closer to whenever the I don't know when the trade deadline is off the top of my head, but if we have, depending on what our schedules are.
I'm all here for it. There's things that I need to get off my chest about, like Keon Johnson from Tennessee, Jaden Springer, Sharif Cooper.
We can do,
And you know how me and you talk about draft. Like we can go for forever about
100%.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Whenever you want to do some draft talk and some NBA talk down the line,
for sure. And closer to the draft, we can do like a mock draft as well, where we go 1-2 picks, and we could do the first 16, like the teams that are out of the playoffs or whatever it is, and then we could do it just like we did this draft, and it'll be great.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait.
All right. Thank you once again for coming through. Much appreciated. First guest. We're going to retire your jersey in the Raptors.
Yeah, my jersey's going to the roof. Going to the Raptors. I cannot wait.
The first special guest.
And then you got to unretire it, and I sign a 1 day so I can do the next episode. And then you can retire it again.
For sure. So once again, man, thank you for coming through. Hopefully we'll see you again. You come by, like I said, whenever you want to talk some basketball, football, whatever, Dak, you let me know.
Yeah, don't get me started about Dak. He wants Mahomes' money, apparently.
Yeah.
Fucking guy.
So thank you to everyone for tuning in once again. Like I said, this podcast will be up in the next hour or so on Anchor as well as YouTube and some other platforms. Again, thank you to Yusuf for coming through. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you guys again sometime down